Hello everyone, welcome to today's deck profile. Today we're doing the Triamids. This is an older deck based around cycling through your three in-archetype field spells, Cruiser, King Golem, and Fortress, that focuses around rock types. It's really fun. You can do a lot of very interesting control strategies with it. And the extra deck is completely open, so without further ado, let me hop right into the video. Starting off, we play 3 copies of Triamid Hunter. Hunter has the effect that if a field spell is face up on the field, you can normal summon one rock-type monster in addition to your normal summon. All of the little Triamids then have a second effect that says you can target a Triamid field spell in your field spell zone, send it to the grave to activate a Triamid field spell from your deck with a different name. This is a quick effect. You can only do that on your opponent's turn, but it lets you cycle through your field spells and get a lot of really great effects off. So he's definitely a wonderful 3 of. We then play 3 copies of Triamid Master. Triamid Master says once per turn you can send one face-up Triamid card controlled to the grave, then target a set card on the field and destroy it. And then it has the effect to trade out your field spells. This one's a little less good than Hunter, but it is a Triamid name, which is important, as you'll see later on, but also a great way to cycle through field spells during your opponent's turn. Then we play 3 copies of Triamid Dancer. Once per turn, you can target a Triamid card in your grave, shuffle into the deck. If you do, all rock-type monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, and then it has the ability to trade out those field spells. So, once again, not one of the better cards, but it does let you start getting through your field spells as quickly as possible. For your boss monster of the deck, play 3 copies of Triamid Sphinx. It can only be special summoned by the effect of a Triamid card and cannot be special summoned in other ways. If a face-up Triamid card you control, except for Sphinx, is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. While you control another Triamid card, this card gains 500 attack and defense for each field spell card with a different name in your grave. Also, monsters your opponent controls cannot attack except to attack Triamid Sphinx. So, he can get pretty bulky. 4k is the largest he can get to in this build of the deck. But he also ensures that your little guys are going to stay protected, which is the most important part. Really great boss monster. You can summon him not only off of his own effect, but off of an effect like one of the field spells, or something like a Triamid loading. Really great boss monster for the deck. You do focus around a lot of rock monsters, so you can play 3 copies of Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. If this card is flipped face up, destroy all special summon monsters in the field. Neither player can special summon monsters. Really great card. It is a floodgate. However, it does let you control the game, as it's a rock monster. It being destroyed allows you to trigger your loading, and it being summoned allows you to trigger any of your field spells. So, great card for the deck. It is also level 4, which is important if you want to play stuff like Gallant Granite or a rank 4 engine. We'll play 2 copies. Very Saturated Drought. While it's on the field, both players can only summon Earth monsters. Special summon Earth monsters. Really great card. You normal summon it, your opponent pretty much has to punch into it, which will then allow you to trigger Triamid Loading or your Triamid Sphinx. So, definitely an important card. Finally, play the 1 of Gate Blocker. You'll see why I play this at 1 later, but he's also kind of a floodgatey level 4 rock, which is the most important part. Moving on to the spell cards. We play 3 copies of Triamid Cruiser. Each time a rock-type monster is normal summoned, gain 500 life points. If a Triamid monster is normal summoned, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card. If this face-up card in the field spell zone is sent to the graveyard, add a Triamid monster from your deck to your hand. This is a great way to get your Triamid Sphinx from your deck so that you can start summoning him and going into his plays. The second field spell is 3 copies of Triamid King Golem. All rock-type monsters on the field gain 500 attack. If a Triamid monster you control battles, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated until the end of damage step. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard from the field zone, you can special a Triamid monster from your hand, which means you can summon Sphinx off of it. This is really important because it allows you to get your Sphinx during your opponent's turn. Play 3 copies of Triamid Fortress. All rock monsters in the field gain 500 defense. Triamid monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this face-up card leaves the field zone and gets sent to the grave, you can target a Triamid monster in the grave, add it to hand. This is probably the least of the field spells. You really just kind of want to dump this, that way you can get your Sphinx to a higher attack. It doesn't really do much for you on the field. We'll play 3 copies of Triamid Loading. Loading's effect is if a field spell is placed face up in the field spell zone, you can add a Triamid spell trap from your deck to your hand, except for Triamid Loading. If a face-up rock monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, special a Triamid monster with a different name from your deck. So when you normal summon something like a Fossil Dyna or a Barrier Statue of the Drought and your opponent has to punch into it, they get destroyed, you can summon something like a Triamid Hunter or even your Triamid Sphinx directly from the deck, which is a really great way to cycle through what you need. Since the extra deck isn't what you're really focusing on in this deck, we are playing 3 Extrav. It's pretty much Pot of Greed here. You don't really need your extra deck too much. For the last of the spells, we do play 3 copies of Demise the Land. Your opponent special summons a monster, place a field spell from your deck, and activate it. So, pretty much lets you cycle through your field spells again. Another card that lets you cycle through field spells that I play one of is How Did I Get Here? When a monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's attack or card effect, place face up in your field zone 1 field spell card from your deck, different names from cards in the field spell zones, and reveal 5 monsters from your deck that can be special summoned with different names from each other. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon, shuffle the rest back into the deck. This is why we play this single copy of Gate Blocker, because you play 6 cards that can be summoned off of this. So if you happen to run out of any one of them, you still have 1 extra card. But either way, it's a really funny card to get off on your opponent. The only monster in your deck you can't summon is Sphinx. So, you know. Finally, 1 copy of Triamid Pulse. This is usually what you're going to search off of your Triamid Loading. Once per turn, banish 2 cards from your graveyard, any combination of rock monsters or field spell cards, then activate one of its effects. You can destroy 1 other card in the field. You can target a rock monster in your grave, special summon it in defense, or you can target up to 3 field spells in your grave, shuffle them into the deck, then draw a card. This becomes important once you start getting excess copies of your 3 field spells, because eventually you'll want to get them back in the deck so you can continue cycling them for your plays. This lets you do that. Once you have 1 of each in the grave, you want to leave 1 of each, so that way your Sphinx keeps its attack points where they need to be. But after that, you can start cycling them back with your Pulse. That way your little guys always have the ability to shuffle them back into the deck. That is it for the deck profile. Like I said, the extra deck is completely up to you. I would highly recommend playing 3 copies of Gallant Granite. After that, it is free range. You can kind of play whatever you want in the extra deck. But this is just my way that I play the deck. It's a lot more control heavy. You can absolutely play Adamantipator in this, which is probably a more consistent way to play it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I will see you all in the next one.